Who do you have your eye on today that, man, that dude is good? He's going places. Is there anyone that comes to mind?
Not really. I mean, some of it, the guys are getting younger, and it's like Board Outlaw deal or the All Star. I mean, the whole field will be within a tenth and a half.
Oh, I know.
So it's like nobody's really going to stand out. It's just whoever gets lucky that night.
That makes perfect sense.
So now we're lottery racing to get the right qualifying number to be in the right spot.
Yeah, it really helps to be up front.
Mm-hmm. There's guys out there that are wanting it a little more.
Sure.
A little harder.
Yeah. Is Kyle Larson the best driver in America right now?
Yeah. I mean, there's sometimes when there's a push for somebody, they let things, you just can't plug a guy into something that's that close together and then them be better, that much better when nobody else can do it. He's all in, but he's driving the best stuff. So it's the same thing with me. When I had the best stuff, I won races. When we got behind here or there, that was part of my program that hurt sometimes, was to have a deal with somebody that they were going to furnish you cars or furnish, but if something happened, I kind of get stuck for a little bit. We either have to figure it out and make, I've been with some manufacturers or stuff that they couldn't step up when you needed to step up.
Sure.
So you had to move on. I mean, I can't let my business drown because this guy don't want to do what it takes to get
where you want to go,
where I need to be.
Yeah.
And what I see other people doing. I was with a lot of people for a long time. I didn't just like every time there was an extra dollar, I run over here, run over there. And a lot of people respected that. In the same way, it's like when we had to come down and sit face to face and say, well, what are we going to do? And they say, there's nothing I can do. It's, okay, well, I've got to go.
Move on.
I've got to move on.
Yeah.
A lot of it is about being loyal and being part of the team, not burning the bridges.
Yeah, which is easy to do.
It's easy to do. I've always treated everything like a business, too. I can't let my business die over one person. Or if this owner didn't have what we needed. I mean, a lot of times I'd have 2 motors. I think the most we had was like 5 one time. I never had the 10 race cars and 10 motors and just...
Did you do your share of changing motors out in like motel parking lots back in the day?
Yeah.
You did that.
We've been before where we go to the motel and then people park all around us so we can't get our car out and our truck and trailer out, and we get the jack out and move them out of the way.
Yeah.
Move them across the parking lot. Sometimes people come out, well, I didn't park there.
If you're listening to music, I mean, is it country music that you're listening to, or do you even care?
Probably now more it's classic rock.
Yeah, you're from that era.
Yeah, I mean, before there was a lot of country music, but it's changed and it's different. But I listen to a lot of things. I listen to a playlist or something I had. It's like all over the place.
Do you have a favorite artist from the classic rock era? I like John Mellencamp and AC/DC and...
Yeah. Throw in Van Halen.
Van Halen, okay.
Journey.
Yeah. Do you have favorite food? Like, are you a picky eater?
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. I always enjoy a good steak.
Yeah, heck yeah. Did your mom go to a lot of the races? I know she's still alive.
Well, they did around here when we were here. And then when my dad retired, they got a motorhome and followed me for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
So, my mom, that's the best time of their life.
Yeah. I'll bet. I
because we knew all the places to go. And,
sure.
And we got them to do things that they never would have done on their own.
Oh, and they were married for like 60 years or something?
Mm-hmm.
They were lifelong partners, your mom and dad.
Yeah. Yeah, they started real young.
They were solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is that every day he comes to your mind at some point?
I don't know if it's every day, but through something somewhere it comes around.
Something will remind you of your dad.
Yeah.
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 He hasn't been gone that long, has he?
Oh, it's been maybe 7 years.
Yeah. Was he proud of you? Could you tell?
Oh, yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, because my mom says, he says, I took this race and way past him.
Well, sure.
You know,
You took your racing way past most humans.
yeah, yeah, but I mean, we did a lot of stuff together.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, he said where we lived out there when we moved to that church, there wasn't a lot of kids to hang out with, play and stuff, so it was more hanging out with my dad.
Sure.
Which wasn't bad.
No. That's every father's dream, to have common interests with their children and hang out. And I mean, what more can a parent want, you know? Have you ever had a conversation with AJ Foyt?
Mm-hmm. I drove for him.
Where?
Pocono in 70 or 86, I think it was. Yeah, that was an experience.
Did you enjoy your time with him? I mean, were
yes.
butt heads at all?
No. You know, he told me what to go out, run it in this gear for this, then run it this gear, do this, run this, then go out, and then we looked at the time sheet. When you get to this speed, we'll pull you in, put you in the qualifying line. So it's like I have my little warm-up lap and one other little kind of sort of warm, then I take off. And they time the first lap, they go around. While they come in, you know, we didn't have radios. So it's like the big board says in. I said, what's wrong? Oh, we're going to put you in the qualifying line. I said, already? He said, yeah, well, you're in the top 10.
Wow.
And it's like 2 laps around there.
And again, another track you probably had not been to or driven on, right? I mean,
well, I'd been there in the Patrick car, the STP car, but I never got any time. It was like after Michigan when I was faster than Emerson, running a race ahead of him, and they'd come on and tell me to let him go. And I went to all these tests and never got in a car.
Oh, well, that doesn't help.
You know, but he's the big orange grower with all the money and bringing all this or whatever it is and kill me on that. It's like, I've never felt more knives being stuck in my back there, you know, than anywhere I've been.
Good thing you had thick skin. You've needed it over the decades.
Yeah, but it was, you know, Foyt, well, what do you think about the car? I said, well, I only got a couple laps. I said, but it's, you know, it's too tight. You know, it's pushing here and there. Well, my car's not doing that. And I just looked, I said, well, look at you and look at me. He's way bigger than me. He says, oh, yeah. Because he was used to, like, having George Snyder drive his other car and just start.
Yeah.
And we didn't even have a pit crew. They had to borrow some stuff. And you know, I was good friends with Rick Mears because he run the sprint buggies at Ascot. And I was out there a lot. So he stopped and talked to me. I asked him, he said, well, the tires kind of go off after this. And it's like, we came in the first stop, I had to throw one of the blankets. We just put blankets in there because I guess Foyt doesn't have a seat or much of a seat in his car. He just fits in it. But we had to, I had one blanket I had to come loose and it was blowing up. So I had to throw it out.
Just to tighten up the seat around you mean?
Kind of tape blankets in.
Okay.
And I wore the skin right off this right here on the tub, trying to hold myself up. I mean, our first pit stop, the fuel deal didn't work. So I had to go back out and they had to get another one and get over there and then put fuel in. And then the one time I came in, they told me to come in, still no radios, just you gotta look for the board every time.
Yeah.
Well, they had radios, but he didn't have one for me.
I gotcha.
Because, you know, Foyt's as cheap as they come. I went out and ran, and it's like, you know, I remember Mears telling me, oh, the tires are good for about 50 laps. It's like, shit, I'm way over 50 laps. They had me come in. Well, then Foyt was back there. Well, he come in. Well, all the guys had to go over there, so they had to run me through again. We'd come out there together. I mean, he followed me for probably 30 laps. Found out later, it says like Goodyear was telling him that he had to put tires on that car because they never ran tires that long, you know, a 500-mile race.
So you like didn't have extra tires like the rest of them did?
No, I had a set of the tires that were on the car.
And that was all you were going to get?
Yeah, but then they made him say, well, we're going to make you park the car. And so they scrambled and got some tires over there. And at some point we changed tires, past halfway. And,
Lord.
But it was good.
It
was like after, he's just like, man, this is the best deal. He ran 4th and I run 9th.
Really? You finished 9th in an Indy race at Pocono?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's really cool.
First time. Yeah, the one that I ran at Michigan, my very first one in the STP car. We made a pit stop and then a few laps. I'm going down the backstretch and I'm looking because the tires are like here. You're sitting even
eye level with the tires, yeah.
Tires. And I'm going and I'm starting to put some steering in it and it's like I'm gaining toe. Well, there goes the right front wheel.
What do you mean there goes?
It came off the car.
Oh, okay.
It came off at Michigan.
At Michigan, that's a problem.
3.
That's a math problem.
So I said, I can't really get out of the gas. I can't touch the brakes because I'm only going to have a left front brake.
Why did it come off?
Well, what the crew, the team manager says, well, they were busting the guns, so they turned the air pressure down.
Oh, okay.
But there might have been something else going on. But anyway, I watched it go over the wall. I just just let it bleed off as much speed as I can and just let it go up the bank, get right there and right at the top. And I got it slowed down pretty good. Look, there's nobody there. Driving in the pits. Parked it.
What was harder to drive, a cup car from that era or an Indy car?
It may be the same, just different.
Same.
Just different.
Different, but simpler probably than driving a sprint car.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're on a big track and everything just really, it's like you're going down the freeway. You don't feel like you're going that fast. Well, the most fun or closest to the sprint car was running an Indy car on a road course. I got to test there the first time I was ever in one.
What road course is that?
We were at Jim Hall's Rattlesnake deal he had out there in Midland, Texas, his own little track. That was how a lot of this came together was, I started going to their shop because there was a lot of guys that worked there in the shop that worked on sprint cars, guys that worked with me. And so I come and ask us, well, when we're up here, can we come, in your parking lot and work on our car? Oh, I'll do better. You can come in here and use this room. And I said, you need to let me, when you go test, you need to let me go sometime. And he calls me up, hey, he says, what kind of shop you got? And I said, I got about 11,000 square foot shop. Well, can we come down there and put that car together to go to the test? Sure. There's plenty of room, park your haul, everything. So they come down, build the car. We go out there and they let me go. And so Emerson runs the last year's car and I get in it. But when I got in it, it was dark. I mean, I could hardly even see where I was going. But then the next day he ran it and then went to the new car and they stayed there another day and let me run the old car. Well, I was within 3/10 of what he ran in the same car at the same place.
On the road course.
I'd never even been in one. So that's when they offered me they let me go to Phoenix and test there. And I think John Cock was there. And in the same car, I was faster than he was. And one day Pancho Carter was there and I was faster than he was in the same car. Called me when I was in well, I don't know if you can come up here to Michigan and test. They had some Italian guy, Bruno something. He said his eyeballs are rattling. He can't do this. So I got to fly out there and did that and went there and said, oh, well, we put more wing on the car. Emerson's run this car for 4 days. It'll have more downforce, so it'll be a little bit slower. And so I go out there and run really close to what he ran with more wing. And so they started asking me, well, what should we do? I said, well, if anything, it's a little bit neutral or free getting in, and then it gets tight as I go through the corner. They said, well, what do you think? I said, well, if I was this place is sort of like a big Eldora. And I said, it's like, so, because it's banked, all around. To me, it's got too much left for weight. We need to put some more. So we changed that around and went faster. And then they trimmed it out a little bit and went faster. Well, I'm going a lot faster than he went there in 4 days. You know, probably within.
You're saying you're talking
Fittipaldi.
Fittipaldi, Emerson. Okay.
Yeah. See, but he never won an oval race at that point. And so we come back, and that's when they had the radial tires, and they got canceled, and they come back. We had to run the bias plot tires. I qualified ninth, but you know, the first person when I pulled down there and stopped, you had to stop on the pit road thing. And the first person that walked up was Mario. How was your car? What was it different from practice? I said, well, it was a little tighter. It was just scooting the front end a little bit. So it's like, okay. You know, the guys would come on, what do you think? I was like ninth quick, the first time I'd ever been on a track.
At Michigan.
At Michigan. Then we get in the race. I pass Emerson, run along, and they get McGee. Hey, you know, Emerson's running for the points. He wants you to let him go by. I was like,
did you?
Yeah, we go down the front strip. He's looking at me. I'm looking at him. And, it's like, and then we had my pit stop, and the tire comes off. That I drove back without doing anything, but I guess it bent the one lower control arm a little bit.
Coming back without a wheel.
Yeah, or when it fell off or hit it.
Yeah.
There was something that was a little messed up, or the rotor or something, but they were like, put a tire on it, let's go.
Yeah.
But they didn't want to do that. But anyway, Emerson won the race.
I'll be darned.
On the setup that I had, came back for the race, and the car was just like all over the place. I said, this isn't the same car I drove before. And so I started digging, you know, we I got along pretty good with the engineer because he liked the dirt stuff or was interested in how we did things. And so then I went and talked to the guy that did the shocks, and he says, your shocks aren't near the same as Emerson's. We need to go back to what we did in the test. Emerson wanted you to try this, you know, something he was thinking. And it was like, I said, well, I talked to the guy that built the shocks. He said, we don't have the same shocks. Talked to the engineer, we don't have the same setup. Okay. Well, they gave me most of it back. The next day I went 12 mile an hour faster.
That's a lot.
Yeah. I could see from that unless you control the money, you don't go anywhere.
Yeah, especially at that level.
And I mean, that day Patrick had me a contract, and we were, but then they said, oh, the sponsor guy, he wants 50% to get you a sponsor. I said, you've had STP on this car for years, you know, and then you had to pay the team manager some, and then you had to pay the guys at work some, and it's like, well, that's 80% of what I get. I don't think I can live on 20%.
I wanted to point out the book real quick, and there it is. And I'm taking this copy home with me, signed by Sammy Swindell. The photography in here, I know the story's good. Photos in here that chronicle your career are just absolutely amazing. And I understand you had to do a little reorder?
Yeah, we the first one I got like 150 books, and just the other day I think I had 8 left. Mowing through them, but yeah, that's good.
That's great. There's a lot more in this book, and that's why you got to get the book, because it's forward by Dick Berggren too. I missed that. That's cool. I appreciate all your time today, and wish you continued success going down the road.
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome. Yeah.